Man, okay, so episode 6 of BelAir dropped yesterday, so I went ahead and watched it. I try to watch it like the day it comes on, and we got a lot to cover. It's getting pretty deep. Okay, so I'm not gonna go into like any particular order, just as I remember the episode or whatever. So anyway, the majority of this episode was based around Lisa's. They were having like a fundraiser or something dedicated to her mother. Her mother died of lupus, right? So she was upset about that. And of course, because it brings up memories of her mother. And her father has a new wife. She's pregnant, all that. So, in the previous episode, Carlton told Will to stay away from Lisa because he found out that Uncle Phil pulled some strings for him in Philly where he didn't have to take that charge, right? So Will was kind of staying clear of her because, he didn't want Carlton to say anything. So he was staying away from Lisa, right? So on this episode, he ends up like comforting her, and she was like, I think Carlton's using my vulnerability to try to get back with me. I don't really feel like that, yada, yada, yada. Well, Carlton, he always lurking by. He sees Will talking to Lisa, and here's what she says. So he go in there and start snorting coke. He was all sweaty. He was all like, he's on that stuff bad. I think it's going to come out eventually in the season. So there was a scene where Carlton just broke down, right? And after all the stuff he put Will through since he's been there, Will was holding them and they were both like crying and stuff, right? So like on Black Twitter, because Black Twitter is the main one who watched BelAir, people are saying, dang, Will been crying in every single episode and blah, blah, blah. And I think they're trying to show like vulnerability, men being vulnerable, crying. And I really think that's the approach they're trying to take with that. I think that's why you see the tearing up, and it's not always about this being macho and woo stuff. Okay, so what's that dude's name? The light-skinned dude to be and everything. Michael Ealy. Okay, so he's like some kind of artist person, and Viv paints, right? I don't know if he's trying to push up on her or what, but he was all, during that little fundraiser thing, he was all in the house. He was looking at her paintings, and so she was having a conversation with him. Uncle Phil stepped by. He looked in. He's like, what's going, he was secure with how he was acting, but, you see some sneaky stuff. You can kind of tell, right? So he's keeping an eye out on him. And, Uncle Phil is he's running for something. And Lisa's dad is a cop, right? Like during one of his question Q&A, he was talking about defunding the police. And so Lisa's dad didn't like that. Lisa's dad and some other guy, I don't know if it was a lawyer or what, approached Uncle Phil and was telling him, you need to change your stand on the defunding the police, right? Uncle Phil was like, no, I'm going to keep my, whatever, my position on that. Come to find out, Lisa's dad is going to be running against him because he found out Jeffrey was on it. Jeffrey be on stuff. Jeffrey keeps everything in order behind the scenes, keeps Uncle Phil's hand clean, right? So this episode definitely, I don't like Lisa's dad. I think everybody feels the same way because come to find out, the woman that he's married to now and pregnant, she slipped up and was like, oh, I was cheering him on at this such and such event in 2019 and Aunt Viv overheard and she was like, no, 2018. And Aunt Viv was like, okay, but Lisa's mom died in 2019 or whatever. I done got confused, hell. Basically, she was messing with the man while Lisa's mother was dying of lupus. So I'm just looking at him and like, I didn't really care for him before last night because I just felt like he had that villain thing going off. But after I saw that, I'm like, okay, so you just sat there cheating on your wife while she was dying. Like, it's bad enough to do it when they're alive and healthy, but they're slowly dying and you can't wait until a few months after the funeral to get you some. So I see why Lisa doesn't really care for her. She just popped up too quick. That was just, That was just too much going on. So little Ashley, she came out as gay a few episodes ago. And the girl that she liked, she invited her and this other little boy they both hang out with to the little party. Um, to the little shindig. And Hillary was telling her, just tell her how you feel and everything. So before she could tell her, the girl was like, well, I like somebody too. And so Ashley was getting her hopes up. Come to find out, the little girl like Will, which I figured it was. I figured that's who it was. I watch enough TV to kind of know where stuff is headed. My thing is, Ashley was so hurt over it, but it's like, you know, you don't know if the girl is gay or straight. Like, I wouldn't have said anything until you know for sure. Because if she's straight, of course you telling her that you like her is not gonna go anywhere. But the little first crush heartbreak is always sad. I remember I had my little first teenage heartbreak 20 years ago. 20 years ago this year, 2002. I cried and everything. I was listening to Al Green's Where Do the Broken Heart, How to Mend a Broken Heart. It was rough. I wrote a song about it too. Anyway, so it ends with Will and Lisa kissing, which there's some people on Twitter that are like, well, she's wrong for going after Carlton's cousin. That's not right. It's like, I don't feel like their relationship was that serious. Like, it just didn't seem like it was that serious. And I don't see Lisa as being like this, just, I don't give a damn, I'm finna mess with all your kinfolk. Like, I just don't get that vibe from her character. So, hey, but we'll see how it ends next week. I'm looking forward to it because I'm hoping that Vil stays faithful and stay away from Michael Ealy. I'm trying to see what Jeffrey Dirty Work gonna do. I love him though. I love his character. Like, he's on some James Bond 007 stuff. I'm looking forward to Ash's character. And Hillary's character, she was on like this influencer house thing, but it wasn't really working for her because they wanted her to post and such, and it ended in a way where she was wearing some lingerie in front of the camera, so people were like, is she doing OnlyFans now? Like, so we shall see. All right, again, BelAir comes on Peacock. It's free if you have Xfinity. I don't know how much it is if you don't. Thursdays, of course, with streaming services, the good thing is as soon as Thursday drop, you can see it. It don't have to be no certain time. All right, as always, peace and blessings. Y'all have a good one.